It's important that you understand like why we're winning and why we're losing, right? I'm looking at your account right now. How long have you been playing?
Only a couple months. It's been like
Couple months, and you bought my
months.
coaching. That's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
What's your goal with the game?
Eventually plat range.
Okay. Let's see. You've been playing set for a little bit now. It's not going too hot.
No, there's definitely like some games it goes well and others definitely not.
Okay. Okay. Let me log into League here on NA and try to figure this shit out with you. Because what I want to see, or what I want to know, is what you're doing in lane. I'm going to look at a game where you do reasonably and then go from there. Let's see here. You see my screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Problems is not knowing when to trade and knowing when to just CS and ignore. Because I'll get like hyper focused on trying to get the kill and then miss an entire wave for it and then realize after the fact.
Let's see. Why are you taking teleport?
For when I lose trades. I was taking Ignite for a while, but I was just testing out teleport because it got changed.
Because here, let's see what you do. You ran all the way up to the front. That's good. It's a good habit. You get a really tough lane right away, it looks like.
Yeah.
This is very easy for you to get owned in this lane. I don't like this idea that you have here of pushing into her, though. I think you're making a mistake in doing that. Because I just don't see how you're ever going to kill her. Let's see what you do. She run Conquered too? It's a rough lane. All right. So right off the rip, when I look at this lane is kind of interesting because it's very rare that it shows up. It's super annoying when it does. Basically, how you need to start viewing ranged matchups, at least in my experience, is you should never, ever be trying to push into these lanes like you did here. Your champion simply just... How do I frame this? You're just never going to be able to do any sort of like all in if the guy plays properly. Like when you watch the lane itself play out, every time you go for a trade, you're going to see what happens. So you go, you walk at her, she kites you back. Then if you go to hit the minions, she's basically looking to harass you every time you hit minions, either by auto attacks or ranged abilities, right? So this is why this lane or this matchup, it's actually really important for you to do. Basically, let me pull up Epic Pen. Basically, the problem here, and this is what happens with every new player, is they try to take their champ and they try to just like brute force every lane. You like Set because he wins most every single, melee matchup. I suspect that's why you like him.
Yeah.
He's pretty simple, but he has a big, he has a good skill ceiling. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with him, and there's the Flash W, which is cool. And what were you gonna say though?
Oh, so this was already like scuffed right off the bat because I thought it was a mod top, so I went Doran's Blade instead of Shield.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, it shouldn't be scuffed. It shouldn't be scuffed because when you're loading in, it shows you that you're facing what you're facing. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, nah, I do.
itemization regardless is irrelevant. I mean, you could have went
I
do-
just go shield.
yeah, you went door and shield anyways. Yeah, you're fine. Like the itemization is not the point, is what I'm trying to say. It has nothing to do with it. All you care about, I'm gonna just draw this out visually. All you want is the wave to go under the tower, farm as safely as you can, and then right as the wave rebounds, you want to try to find a kill. So in this spot here.
This is just all arranged.
Yeah, pretty much versus any range matchup. This is the framework that I want you to operate in. I want you to play like I want you to play like a pussy, let them push in, and then keep your health really, really high, and then look to trade when the wave's like here, rebounding off of tower. So you're gonna see it visually here in a second. I'm gonna speed this up so you can see it. See how we're here right now? See how low you are? You're useless in this position. Your game is over. Anything that happens at this point is dependent on the jungler or this guy tanking tower shots. That's not good. You've already fucked up. Your goal responsibility is when every time you face a ranged matchup, just last hit and let them like try to auto you, but you could dance in and out of bushes or whatever. But the point is that you cannot try to just like push into these lanes anymore. You have to be respectful of the rules of the game. Ranged has prio versus melee. Let him push into you. That's just how the game works. You can use your W to kind of like block some of the damage as well. If he does, like if somebody hits you with like a couple autos, you can like W to kind of return that damage and back off. But you're playing defense. This is called defense. I coach a lot of Garen players on this. I mean, Set's no different. You know, Set's one of those champions where because let's see what other matchup you get. You get Aatrox, which is a much more doable lane. What is this one here? Gnar. Let's see what you do with Gnar. So this is cool. Let's talk about if you wanted to try to find some sort of win. This would be an example of like a really, really good open, except you fucked it up because watch what you do. So you come out and you walk at the guy, which is good. So you walk at him. 1, 2, and then you stand in the minions. What you should be doing is you should be moving to the left here, in my opinion, or to this bush here. See how you're hitting the minions? You're hitting the minions. The whole point of this is that there's no reason to push into anybody. Why would we push into this Gnar if anytime he walks out towards us, we can grab him, punch him in the face, and then run back to the bush? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a reoccurring theme that you're just hitting minions because you feel like you have to, right? But you don't have to touch the minions. This is why I tell people in coaching, hey, just last hit at the very last second. So watch it again. Imagine a world where you walk up. You walk at him. And here's another little tip. I'm gonna go real into the weeds so maybe you can understand this a bit better. When you E him, this minion, or sorry, when you auto him rather, when you auto him, this minion and this minion are about to target you. It might even be the third minion. Let me see where you're at. Okay, cool. So when you auto him, these 4 minions are going to target you, okay? Ready? Watch. Oh, even these minions got you too. So let's talk about why I'm drilling into this, because I want you to see a funny little thing that happens. So he starts walking by you and you feel like you need to stun. That's already a mistake. See how he's going like this? Just go like this and auto him all the way back to tower. Don't stun, just auto and stay here. Mini Nar has like some of the weakest. Look at his health. His health is actually like super low. You see that?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of just a fun fact. Like, see that? It's so small. 554 versus 750. So all you have to do is watch what you do. You go up and you decide you're going to stun him. But imagine if you just stand here and auto him all the way back. And then once he gets near tower here, then you E and auto him again. And then run to this bush. And now just last hit. And you could wait. And he's pretty much out of the lane. Like, the reason I'm going over this is because you can legitimately beat people early on. Now, if we go back, I'm just going to switch over to that Lilia game real fast so you can see the difference. It's important that you understand like why we're winning and why we're losing, right? You saw how Nar moved. So let's look at the Lilia one real fast again. Just real quick to just point out, watch how the Lilia moves. And you'll see that you didn't really have much that you could do because of the fact that she went bone plating and her spacing was a little bit better. So you decide like, oh, I'm going to try to walk out of the bush. Now, this is more interesting to me because what you could have done is she tried to space you out, but you could have just kept walking at her for a bit. Remember that you're not really losing anything. Right? But here's the problem. She's running Ignite and you're running Teleport, which was going to be my next thing. Imagine instead of what you did here, Flash Teleport, imagine if you're in this bush and she runs down like this and you just pop Ghost and start running at her.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Would change the game a little bit. It's good that you're exploring these ideas. So there's two things. Thing one is expect them to push into you. Thing two is, however, if you could land an E like you're trying to do, and then just last hit and use the brushes, you can constantly just pop out of the brush, try to land a big combo, and then duck into the brush while they push into you. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like if you try to push into this and hit the minions, that's where you're getting yourself in trouble. Watch. Because now you're doing this like, oh shit, I'm going to get autoed or whatever. And then you get yourself kind of caught a bit when you start overdoing this. Because realistically, you should just be ducking into the brushes and only popping out to make an E attempt. And then you just avoid autos completely. But if you notice, I mean, this guy's bad. He's not even autoing you even after the E. Watch, you'll see what I mean. Like here, he should auto, and he should be walking forward and autoing you, and then he should duck into the brush for a second. But he's not really autoing you. See that?
Yeah.
So that's why it's really important that you don't try to fight these pushes, because you're not going to be able to do anything if they auto you like that. Let's do an exercise. I have like super high ping, but I want to try something with you in particular.